Hello and welcome to another Whiskey Review with me, the Whiskey Novice. Thank you for joining me for review number 146, part 3 of a series in which I'm looking at some miscellaneous malts. Malts that are just in my cabinet and are miscellaneous. What are we looking at this time? Well, it's Ardbeg 8-year-old for discussion. This one was originally it sort of was a committee release, the Ardbeg Committee release. But it was pretty much on general release, I think, soon after. I don't think it remained a committee release, committee exclusive. And it was also, why did I buy it? Well, it was also relatively well priced in that it was £57. I think you can still buy it at that price. Or is this, no. This is the one, sorry, I'm thinking of something else. This is one that, yes, you probably still can buy it at that price, some places. And when I'm saying about price, I generally talk about prices ranging from £57 in this case to, and you would usually be talking £67, £77, whatever. But I'm going to say £57 to infinity because I've seen this for ridiculously stupid prices. Is it worth that? Well, I'm going to tell you straight away, no, it's not. There's no whiskey worth paying a ridiculously stupid price for it, in my opinion. Just, curtail that. So, what is this? Well, it's bottled at 50, what's that? My eyesight doesn't allow for 50.8%. It's non-chill filtered. I think most of their whiskies now are naturally coloured. And this was, as I mentioned, for discussion, a committee thing, and then move on. So, shall we discuss it? Well, no, not really. I'm going to tell you about it and you'll listen. That's the way this works. Then you can come back with your comments. This isn't a discussion right now. I'm just going to give you my views on it. Let's dive in, shall we? A little flat, sweet smoke, if there's any barbecue. Sort of Ardbeg-y, orange and lemon. It is a bit bright, sticky. It's also a bit, if you go, I think with Ardbeg, you go sort of bright and dirty notes, so there's a bit of sticky, sweet barbecue ribs. Unless you're vegetarian, I imagine you know what I mean. I said lemon. There's that lemon citrusy, sherbety. So to me, generally, whenever I narrow those things down, I narrow it down to love hearts. I use the term love hearts. Love hearts are those candies with the hearts on them. I'm not sure how universal they are. There is a salinity of it, seashells, rock pools. There are some sharp fruit notes, and once again, it's that top and bottom points. And when I'm talking about top and bottom points, I'm talking about if salinity, if seaweed, for example, is a bottom point, then a top point would be strawberries. So it's that weird salinity thing, seafaring thing, to a bright strawberry sweetness. And in this case, yeah, it goes from that, I said, about seashells, rock pools, and then strawberries, but also maple bacon. So there's barbecue-y, sweet, meaty notes, but it's just a bit on the nose. It's a bit thin. It's a bit blah. There's not an awful lot going on. So the palate then, sharp, bittersweet delivery. Not great, dry. Feels a little thin. there is sweetness there, but the bitterness overrules. It all is a bit thin. It all rushes to the back of the palate. Lots of citrus, slightly hot. And when I think about that, I'll go back to, and I've used this one before, and I was actually reminded of this by one of my American friends, Red Hots, cinnamon Red Hots, because I'd forgotten about Red Hots, and they're a great describer of something like this, which to me all plays at the back of the palate. The sweetness drains very quickly, and it just becomes about heat. And in this case, yes, the smokiness is back, but that smokiness all hangs around for the finish, which I suppose is a feel of smoky whiskies in general. Yeah, there is lemon and lime hanging about in the middle a bit, but and at the back, yes. And the smokiness just fades off to the finish. It's just a bit, I'm going to say, one-dimensional. It doesn't do an awful lot for me, this. Finish. Medium to long, I suppose. The smoke is the smokiness is there, but it's slightly vegetative. The lemon and lime hangs around in the finish, but it's still a little hot. The Red Hots, that cinnamon thing, yeah, it becomes a little dominant. I'm going to add water and see what that does, although I'm not holding out much for it. Before I go back into this, I know this whiskey, this was actually, for me, a bit like the Wee Beastie. So it would suggest that younger Ardbeg ain't that good. In that, when I started this bottle, the same with the Wee Beastie, the initial pourings, probably the first 2 to 3 pourings, had great potential for me. I found the Wee Beastie very creamy, young, yes, but it felt vibrant and just rich and good for a 5-year-old. But very, very soon, as soon as you get over the shoulder of the bottle, it started to become boring and just didn't cut it. I like the Wee Beastie, and I did like the Wee Beastie, but it just didn't keep going. It just soon stopped being a good whiskey, and this is the same. So it would suggest that whatever way they're treating the younger ones, they just don't get. And I haven't got back into this before, but the 10-year-old, I don't know why I'm just blabbering about this straight away and saying that, I would recommend something better. The 10-year-old is much better than this. The 10-year-old thinned to 46%. Yes, I know this has probably been toned down a bit, but the 10-year-old just brings so much more than this. This just falls very flat for me. Once again, it was good to a point. Very good to a point. Very bright, very lively. How long have I had it open? Yeah, quite a while. It has to be, I have to admit, because it's been, how long has this been out? 6 months, 8 months? So yeah, I'm down to probably just under half full. It just went off very quick, or just became bored. And I was actually surprised, because I went back to it a bit, and thought it was better, and remembered it being better. Did my tasting notes a couple of times on this, and found it going a bit strange. And when I did the tasting notes for this review, I just thought, no, it's not great. So I've added a little water. It does become a little earthier, but only a little. Only a little. Very, very slightly. And it's slightly... The smokiness is a little earthier, but at the same time, the love heart thing turns up a bit, so there's more of a dusty, sherbety thing of it. If it felt thin before, it feels thinner now. It's all about... And the lemon and lime shoots all right to the back of the palate. Sharp. Yes, a wee bit more earthy on the palate as well. But sharp. Yes, lemon and lime. Sharp. Sharp is the thing that it just doesn't ring true of an Ardbeg. Finish, still sweet, still sharp. It just does not ring true of a good Ardbeg for me. Was it a good price? Well, it's sort of typical of what Ardbeg are doing now, in my opinion. All in my opinion, remember. I know Ardbeg have a lot of fans out there. Hell, I don't care if I rub you up the wrong way, but Ardbeg make this big show of, oh look, this is something different. It's a little different from us. I've said it before. Use the 10-year-old as a template and maybe do something different with that. The wee beastie, good for a while. I can't remember. I was probably quite glowing about it when I reviewed it. But at that time, I hadn't probably spent enough time with it. So as good as it was for me originally, it definitely didn't continue to be good. The 8-year-old is doing the same. It seemed to be great. It seemed to be sharp. And I said sharp about this, but it seemed to be, when I say sharp, full of life, but still had enough earthiness and enough grip, etc. going on before. Whereas now, the further I go down this bottle, the less I enjoy it. So that, to me, that's not good. I like to go the other way. I would rather open a bottle, find it tight, find it slightly uninviting, maybe a bit too far, but I certainly wouldn't expect it to be great initially, but get better as the bottle goes on. Whereas what I'm learning of Ardbeg, the further I go on, especially these younger releases, is that they go the other way, that they tend to start good for me and just get worse as they go down. I feel a bit, almost feel a little guilty saying this. I shouldn't do. What does it matter? But it just, I want more from Ardbeg, because I know that the 10-year-old is just bucklingly good. It's just, to me, it's such a great whiskey that I want. It's like Springbank. I want everything to be on that level, and I know it can't be, but with Ardbeg, I suppose, especially with it being such a peat monster, that there has to be this level of excitement everywhere. This here just does not keep that level of excitement going. So there, I'll just leave it at that, and we'll do this. It actually, no. It just, there's a sweetness about it that becomes even heavier and just doesn't, I just don't like it. This one doesn't do it for me. So what would I recommend? What would I recommend for you? Well, if you're going to go peat, you're going to go big, and you want that good big, here's our distillery feel, and we'll ramp it up. I'm going to suggest to you Lefroy 10-year-old cask strength. This one I can't actually remember which issue this was, but it's bottled at 60.1%, so that might give it away. Those of you who nerd enough to to know when the 60.1 release was. So yeah, I would suggest to you Lefroy 10 cask strength, because it's something. It's big, it's bold, it's beefy, it's Lefroy. It's Lefroy at its best, if you ask me. This is not Ardbeg at its best by any means. So take something here that uses peated malt. They know what they're doing with peated malt. Lord knows we know that they know what they're doing with peated malt. Ardbeg, and they haven't used it well here, in my opinion. Lefroy 10-year-old has been used well in this occasion. If you know, if you've bought this, if you're getting into peat, or you need to be really getting into peated whiskey to be in this stage, I think. This is not a good Ardbeg to buy. I wouldn't recommend it, but I would recommend the Ardbeg 10-year-old cask strength. I did say whenever I started this series that they wouldn't all be good or bad. Well, when I say good and bad, it's only an opinion. Remember, this is only ever an opinion. I would dare say there'll be enough of you out there who think that Ardbeg 8-year-old for discussion is incredible. In my opinion, only my opinion, I would disagree. I just think it's Ardbeg. What is Ardbeg doing here? Are they just trying to bring more fans in? Well, no, because it's something that's accessible. It's probably not that expensive. When they put out these committee releases, they generally have a price tag twice this size. And I'm sorry, but I won't touch them. I won't buy them because I just think it's stupid. It's silliness. This didn't do it for me. I'm starting to think, the more I go, the further forward I go, I'm starting to think that with where Ardbeg's concerned, I will just continue to have a bottle of the 10-year-old in my cabinet and be happy with it. There. Yeah, I could ramble on, but no, I'll leave it at that and say, look, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much to my patrons, if you wish to join that group. Still not very good. The details are in the video description below. I can't thank you enough for joining me. Here's to your good health, my friends. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please click and subscribe to be notified of further content.